Exactly. So that's going to be the conversation. We're going to transition right in, and we're going to talk about what we are going to be looking for: offense, defense, us versus our good friends down there at Rocket Top. I actually love that they're going to go with the dark mode jerseys. That is going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of you, for those that are going to be in town, please enjoy the beauty of it, because I sure am. So let's talk about what we think about what we're going to be looking for on offense and defense. First, let's go ahead and talk about our partners over here at Sleeper. If you're not checking them out for Daily Fantasy Ball, looking out. They are the presenting sponsor of the channel, and they've got some great options. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to hook you up, match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. And they're going to give you $20 just for checking them out. So, of course, we're going to make a couple of picks here. Whenever you look at what's available, see, college football right now, they got a boost going on, 35% boost for adding college players. So you got to make sure you add 3 or more players, pick more or less on their stats. And if you hit, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So you can make your game days into paydays. And so, of course, Oklahoma has some stuff in here for Oklahoma, Tennessee. That's going to be the one that you got Vanderbilt and Texas in here. That one, to me, is intriguing because I would love to see if Diego Pavia gets more yards. I don't even think they have Arch Manning in here. Why? Because we don't even know if he's going to play. So that's something to check out. But, of course, like I said, Oklahoma and Tennessee is in here because they are the night game. And we'll put some picks on them a little later. Check them out. Use the promo code UNFAIR, and they'll hook you up with a deposit bonus. Match it at 100% up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. So, Coop, first off, let's talk about the biggest matchup in this game. Everybody wants to be in the comments complaining about the offense, and I totally understand. We'll get into that a little bit more deeper because I think that just deserves, its time, and that'll lead us right into the injury report. But Tennessee's offense is ridiculous. They're third in college football right now in yards at 510 yards per game, which is, if you really think about it, it's pretty obscene that they're able to do that as an offense. Offensive efficiency-wise, though, they're only 14th in the country. So they're not super efficient. But they put a lot of numbers up. And I saw one of the little Spider-Man deals, the Spider-Man chart or whatever. And their biggest issue is they don't have a lot of explosive plays. What is our weakness, Coop? Explosive plays. So when you look at it, you're like, how exactly are we going to be able to stop them? But they're very good. Like I said, they're big on the. Let me pull up their spider web. I think the spider web is kind of fascinating, actually. Come on, is this the one? This is it. This is their Spider-Man on offense. Their spider web. So what it goes through, it's your estimated point average per play, and you got early downs, late downs. They're good on just keeping the ball moving. Very high on the stuff percentage, means they don't get stuffed. They do a good job of getting the ball going. Solid with their opportunities, but the explosions is where they struggle. Like, just don't do a bunch of explosive plays. Now, granted, we saw a bunch of explosive plays against Georgia, but year over year, consistency-wise, they don't. Which is like the wildest thing to me in the world to see that they don't do that. Like, I would have thought the way that their offense is ran with Heupel, that they would have a lot of explosive plays. They don't. They're just consistent. That's the thing that Heupel has done a very fantastic job there is he's consistent as hell. He's just consistent.
It is. And I think that one of the things that I've noticed a lot with their offense is, I mean, Heupel calls a hell of a game. Like he really does. Like whenever he has a play call, Joey Aguilar, he knows that it's going to work, and he sticks to the game plan. He stays on game plan very, very, very well, which can be used against him.
Yeah.
The pick six against Bama, he was going that way no matter what.
Unless that is the thing. That is the thing.
Yeah.
He will do that.
unless the line crumbled in front of him, which they don't do a ton of crumbling. I mean, he has it. He has the 1-2 read, and it's gone. Like he's not going to do a lot of ad lib, and I think that they've got 3 receivers in the top 10 in the SEC in receiving yardage, so they get the ball to a lot of different guys. So you're going to see all the defensive backs getting tested. Whatever rotation that Brent Venables uses, I'm curious to see what he does. Does he stick with a Eli Bowen, Cortland Guillory? We'll see what Gentry's designation is here coming up. But at this point in the season, you just got to think that it's probably going to be Eli and Cortland for the bulk of the snaps at defensive back, and you're probably going to see a Reggie Powers in coverage. But you're going to have that opportunity, and if you can bump him off of what his mind set to do, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Oh, yeah. Defense has a good opportunity here to really wreak havoc, because their offensive line is actually solid. And David Sanders Jr., the true freshman right tackle, is back, and he's put up some pretty good reps. I was watching the film guy break it down, and he's been putting some good reps in. Now, he's very vulnerable in some certain spots. You'll be able to have a way to cause problems. And so when you get in here and you look at Oklahoma's defensive profile, this is our defense. Just so y'all know, the more coverage you have, the better your team actually is as far as ratings
bigger the
go.
web.
Yeah, the bigger the web, the better your team is at it. And we struggle at giving up those occasional explosive run plays. It's really it. And that to me is because we
mostly in rushing game.
Yeah, it's rushing game. It's runs. It's because we get aggressive with where we go fill up holes, and teams use that against us. That's what Ole Miss did. They used our aggressiveness against us. That's how that personal foul came on Jaden Jackson. He was pursuing him. The lineman was losing, so he pushed him right into the quarterback. They called it on us. That's just kind of what you do. You just leverage aggressiveness against you. But that's what we're sitting at right now. This is your this takes out garbage time stuff. This is all focused on, this is really your adjusted, right? It's pretty darn good. That's the good thing about it. So for us defensively, and you mentioned it, Coop, because I actually saw Gabe and Teddy talking about it as well. The big thing with Aguilar is he's going to make his reads. He has a slow wind up, but a very quick release. But he knows where he's going. If you know how to follow his eyes properly, because he's going to look off the safeties, you got a chance. He turns the ball over. Now, a lot of his turnovers are drops from his receivers. I think 4 of his 6 picks were tipped by the wide receiver into somebody else's hands. So you got chances. He's going to throw it in spots that's going to get the ball tipped. We do a good job of getting our hands up. That's going to be a force. He doesn't scramble. He can. He doesn't. Went back and watched him. He will stick in that pocket and launch it.
Yeah.
He is determined to get rid of that ball. I think it's 37 carries for like 90 yards this season. So you won't need a spy. You just need to make sure you fill gaps, fill holes with linebackers, and make sure you watch him and make sure nobody's crossing behind you when he's trying to run, and you push up and you tackle him. He's not going to really run like that. That's not his game. Thank goodness.
And also, I say you look to this, is R. Mason Thomas is going to get his opportunities. And with his big, long get ready, he's going to have the ball back behind him getting ready to throw. And if R. Mason Thomas gets there, he's going to be able to pull the ball out or knock his arm out. And he's done it several times. Arch Manning has a really, really quick release. I mean, that's just pedigree from his family. Yep. Even with Chambliss had a little bit, he's got more of that Michael Vick kind of sling. But
flings it.
With Aguilar, look for that in the game. And that'll be one that if R. Mason or one of the edges gets their opportunity, Taylor Wine gets his opportunity, he's going to reach back and he is going to have the ball out there in his arm. And if you are in the area, you can swipe at that and you can cause a fumble. And I'll bet you that it's going to happen at least once. And worst case scenario, I mean, his arm's going to be coming forward, and you're going to have it knocked out. And too bad Satania doesn't play defense, because I'm pretty sure that he'd be involved in a was the hand moving forward type of review. But that's going to be something that we'll see at some point during the game.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that. They're going to be trying to get it about. Now, the thing about them, and we'll talk about defense in a moment, is that every game they play is a shootout. The question in here was about Ole Miss and their scoring. I think they are averaging well over 40-something points per game this season. Like, we held them under their average. They score a lot of points. That is really what the Ole Miss does. Let me look. I'm actually give you the number. Now they're 37. But they scored, here's their number, 63 to start the season, 30 on Kentucky, 41 on Arkansas, 45 on Tulane, 24 and 24 on LSU, Washington State, 43 on Georgia. I'm sorry, 35 on Georgia, and 34 on us. They score. Pretty consistent to what they do.
I would also say this, too. A big thing that's going to come up at the end of this game is which team can close out. Yep. And that's not either really offense or defense. Tennessee's had an issue with closing out games also. They could have beat Georgia.
Should have beat Georgia, actually.
Should have.
Yes.
Right? They were sticking there with Alabama, and they just kind of came off of it. But they've had some trouble at the end of games. And so let's see what happens, at that, because it's been preached on, by Venables, this week and, in prior, but you got to close it out. You got to wrap them up. And, you made a comment before we got in here about, how the game was going to go. And I think that whether it's on defense, whether it's on offense, OU needs to be able to take advantage to deliver the knockout punch if that opportunity arises, because that's going to be a big thing. You don't want you don't want this defense on the field like it was against Ole Miss.
And I don't want them out there. I don't think it will.
I don't either.
Because they for real run tempo. Like, Bama had a time of possession in their game of 31 to Tennessee's 28, which is about what Tennessee does every week. They are not a time of possession team. That's just not what they do. They're tempo, and they're going to go. And they'll be at home. It'll be optimal weather. Of course, they're going to have the fans right behind them. But they are the lowest team in the SEC in time of possession at 26 minutes per game. And that's every year. That's every year. 2024, actually, we're better in 24. There's that closer to 29, because that was when they was running the ball with Sampson. 2023, they were at 24. That was the lowest. 2022, that was at 25. That was the lowest. Last year was the only time, and that was because Nico wasn't very good last season. If you really think about it, right? Joey Aguilar is a big-time upgrade for them, and he's good. Kind of told everybody he's going to be good. He's really good. But when I went back and watched the Bama tape of how they defended him, they had them boys spinning. Like, Aguilar still got like 260-something yards, but they just kept finding ways to force them to get rid of that ball, and they didn't let the run game really get established. They just kept making them punt, and Bama would go out there, and it was like the second quarter, that's when you started to see Bama take over. Their defense was just in them. And then that pick six really put the nail in the coffin for them in that game. That, to me, kind of closed it. But that Bama defense, go back and watch the game. If you got a DVR, or if you can go find it online, go back and watch that Tennessee-Alabama game. If there's a blueprint to beat us, that is the blueprint to beat Tennessee. They had them in hell. And we know that Womack's defense ain't that good.
Well, Bama's passing defense is much better than the rush defense. And so that's one of the big things that I've been kind of curious about is does Josh Heupel come off of what he does? Because again, listening to Gabe, he was, kind of talking about how they'll come in and try to attack some weaknesses early, and then they're going to kind of settle back into who they are. Yep. And we saw that last year. Is once you got to that time to where it was like, the elbow shot from Robert Spears Jennings hitting Nico, guys getting lit up. Once you saw those situations start to go in, Josh Heupel was like, they're not scoring on us. Let's just get out of here. He can't do that this year. He's not going to be able to turn to his defense and rely on the defense. So how is he going to call this game? Is he going to change his methodology, after a couple conflicts, come across, if there's an early turnover, if they're having trouble running the ball, like what are they going to do on that one? Because if I'm Josh Heupel, I'm taking 1 or 2 shots at Brazil, like at some point, like you're going to give that dude, what is he, 6'5"? Neither of our defensive backs are even 6 foot. Was Eli like 5'9", 5'10"?
Well, Cortland's 6 foot. He's just, I think he's a hair under 6'1". So Cortland's your tallest one, but yeah.
So, but Brazil, that's a big dude.
6'5", dude.
So,
he's 6'5", and he's fast.
He's fast.
Good.
And so, does Heupel want to the game plan? Does he have a specific game plan? How do you do that? How do you manage that? Like, what is he going to do there? Because I tell you what, if you start second guessing yourself and you start trying to get out of your identity, we've seen what it looks like, on our side. But this defense needs to force him out of his identity to where he's trying to be that offensive genius that he is, and not just have a lot of sticking to the same script.
Exactly. So for us, the critical thing is Razzle is going to be. He's going to be your problem. Deshaun Bishop, their running back. They got another good back. He's not Sampson, but Deshaun Bishop is a solid SEC back. He got 100 yards against Bama in that loss. He had the 2 games he had 100 yards was at Arkansas and Bama. Georgia had him to 54 yards. I think we can as well. We just can't give up the big run like we did to Justice Haynes against Michigan. But hell, he's one of the top running backs in the country right now statistically. So it's not like we gave it up to a scrub. We gave it up to a running back that's actually really good. And Kewan Lacey is also one of the top backs in the SEC. We made Jeremiah Cobb have to work for his. So you obviously did something right there, right? So we have to do that. You're going to have to force Aguilar to beat you the most, eliminate the ability to do play action, and make and keep pressure on Aguilar. So you're going to have to get creative with your blitz packages. Like I said, I don't see Heupel going out of his typical no huddle. So